Hey there, CJ Math students. Welcome to Notes 3.2. The key idea, remember, is rational numbers can be expressed as fractions, decimals, or percentages. So I can write a rational number in three different ways, and it will mean the same exact thing. So remember, this is your little mini reference sheet that you can use anytime you want to convert a fraction to a decimal or a decimal to percent to fraction, or percent to fraction to decimal. You can literally just use what it says here. There's basically only one easy way to convert a decimal to a percentage, and that is to move the decimal 2 times to the right. This is the same thing as multiplying by 100, but instead of making you, instead of making you do all that math, we just say, okay, go ahead and move the decimal 2 times to the right. So rewrite 0.2, move it 2 times to the right. 1 time, 2 time, it would end up right there, would be the new decimal point, and you'd fill in this empty space with a 0, so this would be equal to 0.2 is 20%, not 2%, but 20%. 0.45, again, start at the decimal after you rewrite it, 0.45, move 2 times to the right, once, twice, it ends up right on the other side of the 5, so it's equal to 45%. Very simple. 7.5, so start from the decimal, move 2 times to the right, once, twice, fill in your empty space with a 0. 7.5 is 750%. Yes, you can have percentages greater than 100. You can actually have percentages less than 1. This makes sense that this is greater than 100% because you have 7 wholes. That's like saying 700%. Like 100% is equal to 1, right? So 700% would be equal to 7. 0.5 is obviously the 50%. 3.75. Start from your decimal and move 2 times, not 3 times, 2 times, always 2 times. So what do you get? You get 37.5%, and percentages can have decimals in them. Right? More examples. So the main difference between 0.01 and 0.1. So 0.01 once, twice gives you 1%. However, 0.1 gives you once, twice with an empty space gives you 10%. Major difference. Okay. 2.5. Now, when the number, this is key. When here you always want to start. Always start at the decimal. All right, so in this case, some of you may say, oops, sorry, spelling decimal wrong. Do I start at the 2? Do I start at the 5? In this case, you want to start right at this point. So once, twice. So that's 250%. Why the 250? Because I had an empty space right there. 12.5. Once, twice. What is this? 1,250%. And 0.0065, what's that going to be, 65%? No, it's not going to be 65%. You move once, you move twice, the decimal ends up in front of the 6. That's 0.65%. This is not even a full percent, right? This is a very, very small number, a fraction of a number, right? Other side. To go percent to decimal, there's only one way to do it. It's move 2 times left. This is the same thing as dividing by 100, right? But instead of making you do that division, we just say move 2 times left. So you start at the end of the number if there is no decimal point, but if there is a decimal point, start there. So for instance, 23%, no decimal point, so I go once, twice. It's 20.23. 5%, I start at the end of the number right here, once, twice. Decimal point would go there, so it's 0.05. Fill in the empty space always with a 0. 1.5%. Notice the decimal point. Because there's a decimal point, I will start from the decimal point once, twice, and this equals 0.015. 200%. No decimal points, so start from the end of 200 once, twice. It equals 2.0. You could even say 2.00. It's the same thing, or just 2, right? All the same thing. So again, taking a look at 1%, what does that look like as a decimal? Once, twice, that's 0.01 versus 10% once, twice, which is 0.1. Everybody always confuses this. Everybody says 1%, oh, that's 0.1. No, that's 0.01. 10% is 0.1, which is the same thing as 0.10. Same thing. 0.25, again, this is not, oh, start here and go once, twice, and therefore it's 0.25. No, you have a decimal, so start at the decimal. 0.25, once, twice, it equals 0.0025. Very small number there. No decimal here, so start at the end, once, twice, we get 12.5. Decimal here, so start from the decimal and move once, twice, you get 0.0625 because you had that empty space right there. Right, you have 2 buzz math levels today. This mixed number one, you do not have to do 9 and 10. Again, you do not have to do 9 and 10, so number 8 can be the last one. 5.3, sorry, I gave you the answer. 5 and 3/10, it's just 5.3. Where did I get the 0.3 from? Right here, this 3/10. Base 10 is magical. 64 and 107 over 25. Well, it's going to be 64 point what? Well, I can know from yesterday, I can multiply that times 8 to get it to a base 10 of 1,000. So 107 times 8. We get 6, oops, not 5, 6, 56, right? 6, carry your 5, 8 times 0 is 0 plus 5 is 5, 8 times 1, 6.8456. 64.856, that's your answer. 6 2/3, hopefully you've memorized by now or used your reference sheet. That should be out for multiplication and the decimal percent fractions chart on the back. 2/3 is just 0.6666 repeated and so on. So it's going to be 6 point, but here's the key thing. It says round to the nearest tenth. What place value is the tenth? This is the tenth place value. So I look at this number. Does it tell me to round up to 7 or stay the same at 6? It tells me to round up. So this should be 0.7 and everything else would turn into a 0. So 6.7 is your answer. Please, 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 please look at your reference sheet. I think it's page 1. For rounding advice. Everybody in the other classes was getting super frustrated because they couldn't get this rounding stuff. Cameron notices that 37 out of 40 cows are sick. What decimal represents this? I can do this in 2 ways. I can either divide 40 into 37 and do it that way, decimal, decimal, 0, and do all that division, or I could say, hey, I know I can do 40 times 25 times 25 and make a base 10 out of it, right? 4 times 25 is 100, so 40 times 25 is 1,000. So really I just got to do 37 times 25. So 35, carry your 3, 15 is 18, lay your egg, 14, carry your 1, 6 is 7, add this up, you get 5, you get 2, carry the 1, 9. So 0.925 of the cows are sick. A lot of the cows are sick. Buzz math number 2, we're going to save for today. I cannot stress enough, go to your reference sheet with this rounding stuff. The 10th spot is the first number, so if it says round to the tenths, you need 2 numbers. You need to look at this number to say, does it round to that? For instance, if it said round to the nearest hundredth and you had 3, 1, 3, 4, right? Here's the 100th spot. You would look at this number. Does it tell you round up to 2 or stay the same? It tells you to stay the same. But 3, 1, 5, 4, if you want to round to the 100th spot, that tells you to round up and make it 0.32. This one would say 0.31. Okay? If it tells you to round to 1,000th spot, you need 4 numbers. So like 4, 1, 5, 7, right? Here's the 1,000th spot. You look at this number. Does it tell you round up or stay the same? It tells you round up, so that would be 0.416. But 0.4153, for instance, there's the 1,000th spot. This tells you to stay the same, so it would just be 0.415. Okay? Please look at your reference chart for that stuff.